Leadership, at the end of the day, is the decisive factor in engaging people. There's a study done, or study done every year by Fortune magazine, and they look at the 100 most engaging workplaces, the 100 best places to work. And in the most recent one, they looked at the results and they came up with what I think is absolutely a perfect statement of what our responsibility as leaders is. They said that in engaging workforces, or engaged workforces, the engagement is dependent on three relationships. One, the relationships between employee and management. Now, if you're a manager, a leader, a team lead, if you have any responsibility for getting results from other people, that's you. The second relationship was the relationship between employees and their jobs in the company. And again, if you carry manager on your card, that's your responsibility. So getting the right people on the right jobs and then making sure that they have an appropriate relationship with the organization. And then finally, the relationship between employees and other employees. And again, that's our responsibility. You can take the best people in the world, put them into the absolute perfect jobs, and unless we as leaders take responsibility for engaging them, responsibility for getting them to go that extra mile, well then nothing works.
Whew, there's so many reasons. When we don't have talented women participating in the most critical public policy issues of the day, they are inherently flawed.
The world needs more women leaders because 50% of the world is inhabited by women.
It's really critical that we have elected representatives that are a reflection of the actual population that they represent. We need diverse voices in elected office now more than ever.
Why wouldn't they need more women leaders? I mean, there's a couple questions there, right? One, it's a matter of fairness. Why do men get to have control of power in our society? There's also the second thing, which is women can represent different interests that right now don't find voice.
Women leaders change how we address public policy. If we're going to have paid leave or childcare or make sure we have flexible work schedules, I will bet you that it will be women who get it done.
There's so many different leadership styles and strategies out there. It is hard to know whose advice to follow. Leading through a positive example, and one that is worth emulating, is probably one of the most tried and tested leadership styles. Walk the talk. Don't do as I say, do as I do. And children steal with their eyes all reinforce the importance of being a positive influence and role model. Before you are a leader, success is all about growing yourself. When you become a leader, success is all about growing others. Jack Welch. He didn't tell me how to live, he lived and let me watch him do it. Clarence Buddington Kellen. A child's lasting impression of their father. He didn't tell me how to live, he lived and let me watch him do it. These words resonate in my thoughts. They capture my attention, my emotions, and my imagination. What an amazing tribute to a life well lived, to leadership personified through a father's every action, word, and deed, each day, every day, for a lifetime. What a remarkable legacy to leave behind. Ideas are sometimes best captured as images. Imagine a father walking, not in front of his son expecting him to follow, not behind his son driving him forward, but rather next to his son leading by example. It invokes an image of a father living to the fullest, yet all the while through his every action, thought, word, and deed, he showed his son how to lead a fulfilled life, qualities worth emulating. Obstacles to avoid, watershed moments to be seized, and relationships worth fighting for. This nuclear father-son scenario is, however, largely universal and one worth striving for in life. Consider a business environment, an educational institution, a religious context, even in family and social relationships. All of these facets of life would certainly benefit immersively from striving to lead by example every day. Too often we fall into the trap of telling people what to do. We walk ahead of them and expect them to follow. We utter meaningless words, often lacking in substance and credibility. Perhaps we need to quietly reflect on our role, our legacy, our example. Perhaps we need to move away from our role as a prescriptive director of activity towards that of a role model who encourages and guides by example, constructive, credible example that is worth emulating. If actions do in fact speak louder than words, then let's live our lives and allow others to watch, knowing that while our example is not perfect, at least it is one that is constructive and honorable more often than not.